All right, so you said that you were having an issue with masking. So I figure, hey, let me just get in here and make a video to show you really, really quick. So this is from the other night, our homework. I'm gonna go ahead and let me see. I'm gonna duplicate this layer just in case I need it later. This isn't what you have to do. I'm gonna show you the parts that you have to do. So, all right, so it's funny. So that noise is probably you responding. But all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend. So here's the start point. So nothing that I did before was your start point. We're gonna start right here. What I'm gonna do is make sure I'm on the proper layer. Okay. So my layers panel is over here. I want to make sure that I'm on the fish. So let me see where that fish layer is. Let me click it. Okay, so it's this layer. So notice that layer is highlighted. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this back up real quick. Let me change the size of it so that you can see it. Okay, so here's how this works. So I have my layers panel over here. I'm gonna move just so that I don't have to do a whole bunch of, to make this easier. Okay, so here's my layer, right? This is the layer of the fish. Making sure that that layer is highlighted as it is. When you mask, so the layer is highlighted, the next thing is you want to make sure that over here on your foreground and background color are set at the default, which is black and white. So if I click here, if it's not, all you have to do is click that little swatch panel up top, or you can hit the D key. Either one is going to give you the default colors of black and white. Okay, so far all I did was I have the layer that I want to mask out. I made sure that that layer that I want to mask out is on top, right? So the layer I want to mask out is the background of this fish. It is on top. Then I have over here in my foreground and background colors are set at default. If they're not, hit the D key. That'll make sure that they're set at the default, which is black on top, white underneath. All right, so those two things are done. If yours is white on top or black on top, all you have to do is click on that arrow, that dual-sided arrow, and notice how the colors are swapping back and forth. But and I can hit D to go back to where I need to go. So D is always my home key for default. It works on PC and Mac, both. All right, so the next thing I want to do, so I made sure that those two things are done. I'm going to go down into my layers panel. I see you're in the select and mask. We didn't go over that yet, so we're at the simplest. We're just right here inside of our layers panel. So again, I'm going to go back to my layers panel, which is over here. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to click on the little mask icon. Click that. So now I have the mask. That's when you see that white mask. And the way that you know that that is selected is that white box on the outside. So if I'm here on the photo and I try to mask it out, it's not going to work. One, it's a smart object. Remember the smart object from the video. And that means it's protected. So I'm going to go back to the mask, make sure that I'm painting on that mask. Then at this point, I can get the brush tool. I can either hit B for brush on my keyboard, or I can locate the brush tool over here in the tools panel. Either way, one is going to get you the desired result. All right, so I have my brush. Now I'm going to make the brush larger, and I'm using the left or right bracket keys to make it larger. That mask is white, right? So I made sure that mask is white. I made sure it's selected. Also, the color on top is black. That means I'm going to paint with the opposite. So that means it's going to do the opposite effect. So, which is what I want, right? Because I want this to hide certain areas. So now at this point, I can go ahead and start painting the areas away of the photo that I don't want to be visible. Okay, and if I accidentally paint too much, I can either hit the X key, or I can go over here to this arrow and reverse it. So now I'm painting with white. My mask is white. So what that means is I'm going to bring back and show. So one of the things to know with masking, one of the things to help you remember is that black hides, right? So black's going to hide anything, and white is going to reveal. So black conceals, white reveals, stuff like that. So, but now I can bring that stuff back. And if I want to switch back again, I can just hit this dual arrow to get black on top, which I know then that means that now when I paint, I'm going to hide. Okay, so that's pretty much the basis of masking. If you want to mask with a shape as well, let's just say I go back to the way that it was. If I want to mask with a shape, what I can do is I'm just going to make a basic, I'm going to use our favorite tool. I'm going to use the object selection tool. Okay, that's the fourth tool down. Hold down on the mouse and you're going to get your other options. Okay, so I'm going to do the object selection tool and I'm just going to select out so that it goes and use AI technology and it finds and it defines that mask. So now I have this selection, right? So what I can do at this point is, and this is just another way you can do it. If you know what shape that you want to go ahead and select out, you can do your selection first. Then you can click on the mask and it'll mask it out for you. So whichever route you go, if you want to paint it out, sometimes things are difficult and you have to paint it instead of using the object selection tool. And then sometimes the object selection tool works wonders for you and it will mask it out how you want. But either one of those ways are going to help you with masking. And that's really it with masking. It's really just making sure you have the right thing selected. So if I go back through this again, just to give you a rundown one more time. All right, so one more time, starting over. All right, so to mask, I have this smart object, right? Smart object sitting here. Step one is just depending on which way I want to do it. So if I want to do it where I'm using the brush and I'm painting away, I'm going to click on the mask. Then I have the mask here. It's in white. I want to make sure that this is at the default. So I'm going to click on the little color swapper, right? So now it has white on top and black on top. So either way, all I have to do is either hit D to make sure that black's on top because I have this white mask over here, or I can click on this dual arrow. The purpose is to make sure if you're hiding, you want this color over here to be the opposite of the color that's in your layer, okay? Because if you keep it the same color, the only thing that's going to happen is what? Nothing, because you're painting with the same color. All right, so I'm going to hit the B, and then I'm going to paint away. So that's one way I can mask away, right? I can do that, and if I do too much, I can just hit X and bring it back, okay? So far we're under the shortcut key of D, which means that I'm going to change them to the default. We know that X is how we can swap these colors around from front to back. All right, so that was one way that we just did, right, of masking, and that's pretty much it. The second way that we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and go back to default. So all I did was throw that mask in the trash. The second thing that I'm going to do is now I have this photo. I'm going to make a selection first, and I'm going to get my object selection tool, go ahead and select around it. There I have it. And now I'm going to click the mask inside of my layers panel, and it made the mask for me. And that's pretty much it, right? What was it? Let's say step one was, let me Control D, Command D so that I can deselect it. Unless it doesn't want to. There's a dialog box waiting for me. All right, there we go. All right, so Control D. All right, so now I'm back at default, right? I have this thumbnail, right, of my layer, making sure that I'm on the proper layer. This is the quickest way. I can go to this object selection tool, select it, go ahead and make a selection around my object, right? And if it does it perfectly, sweet. All I have to do at that point is make sure that this is set to the opposite color, right? It's set to black because the mask that comes in is going to be white. And when I click on the mask, it gets rid of that background. Too sweet. So there's more advanced stuff that we'll go into in the class, but for now, for your first project, that's really all you need to know. Just those two ways are the ways to mask. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If not, let me know and we'll figure something out. All right. I will hopefully hear from you soon.